Good morning everybody and welcome to Thursday's maths lesson. Now, today's lesson is all about decimal place value, and I'm going to say that we are revising decimal place value because I'm sure if you look at the screen in front of you, you'll remember that we have done this before. So I thought because you weren't in school, it would be a really good idea to do some revision about decimal place value. We've done it loads of times before. We did this exact lesson slides before. I found different questions for you, but we've done the questions on the board before. So it's a complete revision lesson ready to start our decimal unit tomorrow. So you can see on the board it says, can you make the following decimals using counters, then using the place value chart, part whole diagrams to explore how they are partitioned. So this is 3.45. So over here you can see I've got 3.45 because I've got 3 1 counters, I've got 4.1 counters, and I've got 5 0.01 counters, and I've put it here into my place value chart because I've got 3 1s, I've got 4 tenths, and I've got 5 fifths. And then I've had a go at partitioning it underneath into my part whole diagram. So I've got my whole at the top, which is 3.5, and I've split it this time into 3 wholes and 0.5. And over here, I've got 3.5, and I split it 3 ways this time into 1, 2.4 and 0.05. And if I was to do 1, add 2.4, add 0.05, then it would indeed equal 3.45. So let me just do another example for you. So this time we're going to do 2.32. Now my counters aren't going to move because I'm recording them, but I'm going to draw my counters so you can see them. So I'm going to have 2 1 counters. I'm going to have 3 0.1 counters, and I'm going to have 2 0.01 counters. I can put that into my place value chart because I'm going to have 2 1s, decimal point, 3 tenths, and I'm going to have 2 hundredths, and then I can think of different ways to partition. So I've got 2.32. I think I'm going to do 1.3, and I'm going to do 1.02. If I was to add those together, I'd get 2.32. And then over here, I'm going to try again 3 different ways. So I think I'm going to split it quite simply this time. I'm going to split it into my wholes, into my tenths, and into my hundredths, like so. I want you to have a go at doing that and see if on a piece of paper you can do it for the number 12.5, and then we'll come back and look at some different ways. Off you go now. Okay, so hopefully you've managed to have a go at 12.5. Straight away I can draw my counters. I've got 1 10 counter, sorry, let me put that as a 10. I've got 2 1 counters, and I've got 5 0.1 counters. Sorry, I can't draw them very well. Okay, I can put 12.5 into my place value columns, and then I can split them in different ways. So I think I'm going to split 12.5 in 2 ways. I'm going to have my 10, and I'm going to have my 0.5, and then I'm going to do different ways. What can I do here? I'm going to do 5.5, then I'm going to do another 5, which goes with 10.5, and then I'm going to do a 2 to give me 12.5. See if you can have another go doing the number 1.33. Okay, hopefully you had a go. I've had a go here. You can see my answers. You can check them against yours. You can see if you've got something similar. But I have full confidence that you've managed to show 1.33 in lots of different ways using the place value strategies. So next question then. Can you tell me the value of the underlined digits? So for example here, we have 3.45. The 4 is underlined. So we have 4 tenths in that number. In the next number, again, you can see the 4 is underlined. We have 14.62, and I know that the 4 is worth 4 ones. Can you pause the video and have a look at 3.62, 163.04 and 2.372 and see if you can work out what the value of each digit is? Okay, so hopefully you had time to have a look at that. For 3.62, the 2 is underlined, which gives us 2/10. For 163.04, the 1 and the 0 underlined, which gives us 100 and also gives us 0/10. And finally, for 2.372, we have the 2 underlined, which is worth 2/100. Now, just as a reminder, which one is bigger, tenths, hundredths, or 1,000ths? Remember, when we move into numbers that are not whole numbers, that a tenth is bigger than 1,000. Think about it over a fraction. I would much rather have 1/10 of a pizza than 1,000th of a pizza. Imagine a pizza being cut into 1,000 pieces. Imagine how little your little slice would be. And I'd much rather have £10 than at 10p than 1p. So just thinking about that decimal place value and what is worth more. Okay, you can do this looking at the question. Circle the decimal number that's represented in the place value chart. Pause the video, count the decimal at the place value counters and come back for the answer. Hopefully you've managed to count 2 1 counters, 5 10th counters and 4 100th counters, which means our decimal must be 2.54. Oh no, we're going to the next question. That's not helpful. Next question. True or false? 0.42 equals 3/10 and 12 hundredths. Now remember, we can't have 12 hundredths in the one place value column, so we're going to have to do some regrouping. So I'm going to take 10 of these and I am going to regroup them over here to make a 0.1 counter. Looking at what's left, do I have 4 10th counters? 1 2 3 4. Do I have 2 100th counters? 1 2. Yes, I do, which means this must be true. You must remember that if it was in a tenths and a hundredths place value column, we can't have 12 in one place value column, so we need to regroup. Okay, you can do this one yourself. In which number does the 4 have the lowest value? Which one is it worth the least? Now remember, whole numbers are worth more than tenths and hundredths. And remember that I'd rather have a tenth of the cake than a hundredth of the cake. So which one has the lowest value? The 4 in 8.49, the 4 in 8.94, or the 4 in 4.98. Pause the video, have a go, and come back. Hopefully you've picked 8.94 because we have 4 hundredths here, which is the smallest value. I would much rather have 4 whole slices of the cake than a 400th slice of the cake. Okay, so just thinking about your value, let's have a look at spot the odd one out. So what I would like you to do now is pause the video and work out what decimals you have in A, B, C and D. Pause the video, come back and you can check your answers with mine. So hopefully for the first one, 3 plus 0.1 plus 0.15 is 3.25. For B, 3 1s, 2 tenths and 5 hundredths. I've got 3 1s, 2 tenths, 5 hundredths for 3.25. For C, we just had 3.25 and I counted by place value counters and I ended up with 3.26. So hopefully you'll agree with me that 3.26 is the odd one out because that one has 6 hundredths and the other has 5 hundredths. Okay, so since you've done this before, I'm not going to go through any more questions. I know that was quick. It was a whistle-stop revision on decimal place value, but you have done this before. Just believe in yourself. If you need to, I will attach a place value table so you have it in case you need it. You can do this. You've done it before. I've got full faith in you. Go and have a go, and I look forward to seeing what you do.